Hi, I'm back on the caffeine, and yeah, I should be doing the intros to the podcast on the nice mic with the nice cameras, but I keep forgetting to say stuff, and everything's just been freaking crazy. I'm starting my tour tonight, Wednesday, with Reagan Youth. If you're in Southern California, please come to the Reagan Youth show, and I'm going to be on stage going, yeah, we are in Oxnard, California, or tonight, which is Wednesday the 4th, at a place called Corner Pocket Billiards. And on Thursday, we'll be at the Soda Bar in San Diego, California. Thursday, December 5th. Friday, December 6th, we'll be at the world-famous Doll Hut in Anaheim, California. Saturday, December 7th, we will be at Catch One in Los Angeles, California as part of the CY Fest. And on Sunday, December 8th, we will be at the Corbin Bowl in Tarzana, California. Also, just want a quick plug right now. We got 4 tour dates. Downtown Brown has 4 tour dates in December. And those are up, and tickets are on sale at dtbmusic.com. And there's going to be a link in the description for all that. We have a Brown Christmas EP, which is streaming now on all streaming services. And that is available right now for you to listen to on Spotify, Apple Music, etc., etc., even Deezer. All you fuckers that love the Deezer. Yeah, I'm all about that Deezer. And one last plug, we have everything at our merch store is 25% off for the entire month. So we're trying to clean house and, you know, save 25% on any Downtown Brown merchandise. Downtown Brown. So yeah, that's it. We got Reagan Youth. We got Downtown Brown, and it's going to be a very busy December for Neil Patterson. So thanks everyone for everything, always, and hope to see you at the shows, and check out the links below, and here we go with the episode. All right, cool. All right, see ya. Bye. 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 Okay, is this rolling? Is this how it's supposed to look? It's
yep.
Red?
Yep.
Okay, so we're totally rolling.
All right, Tino, clap for Neil.
Yeah.
No, it's like, you're supposed to clap.
Dot, dot, dot. Yeah, oh, I'll be able to edit it. I usually just edit it with sound waves. I find a sound wave that I want, and I match it up, and we're matching it up. And hey, we're live. This is SUPcast episode. I don't even know what episode it is anymore. We're cranking them out at this point. But I'm here with Pancho via Skull, and these are my friends from the Detroit area. And we're rolling in the van here. You guys came out to Los Angeles, California. You're on a road quest. Is that correct?
Yep. Yep. We are on day 10 of a 2-week tour. So.
Yeah. Okay, introduce yourself, brothers.
Okay.
These are
I'm Rolando.
I'm Tino.
And we're Pancho via Skull. I play percussion and sing.
And I play guitar and sing.
We only have one of these mics. I think it's kind of cute. They're passing the mic to each other.
Yeah, if you're just listening to the audio one, you can probably hear like a little bit of like this, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. It picks up a lot. These mics pick up a lot. And am I allowed to say it's cute what you guys are doing? Am I allowed to?
That's fine.
Yeah, I think things are cute. I'm not afraid to say that word.
Okay.
Things are cute.
Yeah.
Things are cute. This van is cute. Life is cute sometimes.
It's wholesome. It's probably
it's wholesome.
Is what we say.
It is wholesome. Kids. And you're brothers by blood, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Same father, same mother?
Yes.
That's amazing.
What if we weren't? How awkward would that be?
You never know. and you make music together. There's a bond. There's an unspeakable bond when brothers make music together that makes it cooler. And I know these dudes that are twins that do like this rap stuff. Mm-hmm. And Wax and Herbal Tea, and they're twin brothers, and when they get together and they make music, it's freaking amazing. And then also the drummer and bass player of Fishbone, the rhythm section of Fishbone, they're brothers by blood. Awesome. And there's just something magical about that, and I think it's really cool that you guys are traveling together and you're making music together and you're affecting the lives of people who hear the music. It's a beautiful thing.
We actually just listened to the Wax episode in preparation for this.
Yes. That was an early episode of the SUPcast. It's getting it's getting a little bit more. I'm starting to kind of know what I'm doing a little bit, even though Rolando here had to help me get the recording thing going because usually I have Allie here, my girlfriend, and she's at work, so I'm flying
making
solo.
Them dollars.
But you're making them dollars. But luckily, Rolando here, you have a degree in what is it?
Audio engineering, studio, and like live sound.
So he knows more about this shit than I do, and
Yeah,
it's
I
my
mean-
podcast.
Well, you stepped it up for a little bit from the Wax episode. We're on Logic Pro 10, it looks like.
Yeah.
Got a decent interface here and some
Yeah.
really nice microphones.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I went into credit card debt again. I got out of credit card debt,
Okay.
and then I'm like, why don't I go back into it? Because I get involved in these weird projects. Like I have this band that I've been super involved in for like the last 20 years, and I'm always dumping money into that. Now I'm like, why don't I dump money into this new thing because I'm enjoying it? And so that's what I did. Yeah, you're looking at American Express, the fruits of having a decent credit score.
That's right. Who needs good credit? Wait, do you have a good credit score?
I have a great credit score.
Me too.
Yeah. High five. It actually happened. I don't even know how it happened. I just paid my bills on time, and I had what else did I have? I had a student loan I paid off, and then I bought a couple cars that I ended up paying off, and it just I'm at the point where I'm 38 years old, and I've been living long enough to where I've accumulated a good credit score. I guess it's even better than my mother's. My mother is like really good with her finances, so.
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude?
I think people don't really know that even if you have like credit card debt and stuff, it doesn't really matter as long as you're paying your bills on time. Your credit score will be good.
I think all it is really is a way of saying, hey, I'm not a fuck up. This dude just walked by, totally gave us a huge grin. He knows what we're doing in here.
Yeah. Is this SUPcast or Financial Cast?
I don't know what it is. SUPcast can be anything. We talk about it runs the gamut. We talk about all types of issues. We talk about music stuff. We talk about peeing in bottles. We talk about
That's a lot of music stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, we throwing up out of moving vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That has happened.
we heard about it in
Yeah.
the Wax episode.
So there was a young man that I worked with when I was at this restaurant, and he got blitzed at this restaurant party. For some reason, when you work at a restaurant, everyone hangs out with each other, and they all have sex with each other, and they party with each other. It's this really incestuous, weird thing. It's kind of like high school, except it's even smaller, and everyone just talks about each other. So we went to this restaurant party, and my young friend just got way too fucked up, and I was driving him home in my Dodge 600 sedan. It was the car I had it was in 1985. It was the car I had in high school, and it was the middle of the winter in Michigan, and he puked out the window as we were driving, and I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, all right, at least he puked out the window, dropped him off, went home, went to sleep, yada yada, and then I woke up and looked in my car, and all of the vomit had frozen on the side of my vehicle, because
Oh my goodness.
you're Michiganders, it gets cold as poop. It's cold as
It's cold, right?
it's cold. Okay.
It's cold there right now.
Yeah, and the weather's been amazing here lately. It's a really nice warm day today.
Yeah.
Are you asking for recording on the camera?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Okay, cool. I'm a noob. Rolando, you're gonna be the new producer of the show, but you guys are going back. How many shows in LA before you go back, start heading out east again?
Well, we played SD last night. Well, yesterday morning. It was a matinee show. And then we play LA tonight, and then we head back home.
Cool. And
So,
do you have
2 days
gigs
in
on
Cali.
gigs on the way back?
Yeah, we're playing in a house show in Boulder, and then we're playing a venue in Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay, so you
Which
got a lot of
is-
driving between gigs.
Yeah, so
Making
we got a
big
driving day tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I know all about that the driving day. Yeah, the last driving day we had in downtown Brown, we played a gig in Vegas, and then we're like, our next gig the next day was in Denver, which is like a 20-hour drive, and we're like, we're gonna drive through the night.
We done that.
We're gonna drive through the night, and we're gonna make it, and we're gonna make it to this gig, and we ended up driving through the night, and Phil Warren was driving the van, and we were in Utah, and we got pulled over. Well, let's just say this. I'm not gonna go into the story. Let's just say this: we all were carrying
Okay.
cannabis related stuff, and we freaking got arrested in Utah during what was an all night through the night drive to Denver, and we were so close to Denver. We were on the 40.
That is very close.
We were on the 40 in Utah, and we were probably like 100 miles away from the Colorado border, the Utah-Colorado border, and we were just like, once you get into Colorado, it's like, cannabis is legal. Everyone's very liberal politically. It's not fucking Utah. Right. And we got pulled over in Utah, and we went to jail. I had to.
Yeah, the Mormons are not standing for that.
It was terrible. It ruined the whole tour, because the rest of the tour, I was like super paranoid. because I just was like, and so that was at the beginning of the tour. We had about 3 more weeks of dates where I just was a total piece of shit to be around because I was so stressed out that we got arrested, and I was in tons of credit card debt because I had to bail motherfuckers out and shit.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you could ask Phil Warren. Phil, I was not fun to be around. He even told me at one point, he's like, you need to chill out. You're too paranoid. And it was to the point where I didn't even enjoy the entire tour. That was the last big tour I went on because I just didn't enjoy it because I was too busy driving the van and like mainlining caffeine and just being like, cops, debt, and the shows didn't pop off. It was whack, man. So.
I actually don't know Phil Warren that well, but I see him around. But if next time I see him, that's what I'll bring up. Like, hey, remember that time Neil was just awful on tour?
Just, I mean, Phil and I have spent enough time together where.
Be like, which time?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Phil likes me. I hope. Phil, do you like me?
Hold on. Can we take a break and readjust this microphone stand? It's making me mad.
Yeah.
Okay, loosen it, and then I'll shake this up too while we're waiting.
We can have this. This will be part of the podcast.
If you hear this is an ice pack. I hurt my wrist yesterday.
What we're really trying to do,
so loosen it
with the podcast is have the video element be the main thing. That's the main thing I'm promoting is the whole YouTube thing.
Yeah. And then
how many likes do you have right now?
How many likes?
Or YouTube is subscribers.
Subscribers?
How many subscribers?
We have 1,100 subscribers.
Okay.
Yeah.
We just hit 1,000 on Instagram, so we're pumped.
Well,
I mean, I'm sure Downtown Brown has like 1 million.
No. What's weird about the whole numbers thing is it doesn't. You could have a small amount of numbers, but if you engage the people,
views, you have.
Well, it's about the engagement, really, because there's bands out there that have like 5,000 likes on Facebook, but everything they post they get like 300 likes on. That's 10% engagement. That's incredible, you know. And then there are bands, Downtown Brown has 11,000 likes on Facebook, but dude, we post shit and it gets buried. Like it's hard.
Yeah.
So
freaking algorithms, man.
Yeah, well, algorithms, and it's all about engagement, really. What a lot of people will see is they're like, okay, you have X amount of subscribers, but like who's liking it, who's retweeting, sharing, yada yada. But I just want to make stuff. I'm getting to the point where I'm trying not to be concerned with the numbers thing anymore because I don't know.
It's all made up.
I think it ends up fucking with your brain more than anything.
Well, I was thinking about that yesterday because I was thinking about like streaming analytics, and then I was like, well, if we sold X amount of CDs, every CD is worth 5,000 streams basically. So like, who cares? Yeah. And like, people are probably listening to the CDs. I would hope. Yeah. More, so they're not going to listen to it on Spotify if they just bought a CD. Why?
Yeah, I mean, if they have a CD player.
Yeah.
I'm actually, like, Downtown Brown has had music on Spotify since it started. And I just actually found out how to log in as an artist and edit the profile picture and do it. Because I didn't give a shit about it. I was just like, it's up there, whatever. And then I go on there and I'm like, oh, we have like thousands of plays on here. And people actually listen to it. And so I'm like, okay, well maybe.
How do I get my $10 off of this?
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think of how much money we've made off of DistroKid since we got. I mean, I made like in the last year like a couple $100. It's really not. It's not much compared to vinyl sales or CD sales, but it's cool because it's so readily accessible, and people can be like, oh, you're in a band. They'll just like fucking open their phone and type you in, dude, and you're right there.
Legit, when I was like buying, my wife and I went to go buy a car. Danielle mentioned that I'm in a band, and the lady's like, what band are you in? And she like pulled up her Spotify and like immediately liked it. Yeah. Like, while I was just like, yeah, followed, and like I keep saying like followed. We were just like buying a car. So yeah, you're right, people do that.
Fucking followed.
Yeah,
bro.
And that happened to us in Albuquerque too, like a few different places. Yeah, this kid in the coffee shop was like, you guys look like you're in a band. I'm like, we are. He's like, oh, it's your band, let me pull up my Spotify right now. And so yeah, it's kind of cool. That happens.
Yeah, we live in a push button age where you literally can just find stuff immediately. Like, do you remember before Google when you would have an argument with your friend and you'd be like, no, this person was in this movie, no, and you would have to like yell at each other until you decided to stop. And now it's like, this person's in this movie, like, let me look up IMDb immediately. Like, the argument's over. There's no reason. You can't trust that someone actually knows what they're talking about anymore because you could debunk them immediately with your phone. It's fucking wild.
Me and my grandma once had an argument about Gary Oldman being in Dracula. She swore he was not.
The Francis Ford Coppola
Yeah.
90s Bram Stoker's Dracula. That was Gary fucking Oldman
Yeah,
in the
we
weird
were-
old man makeup. Ugh.
Yeah, and we were like in like nowhere, Texas, having this argument, and there was no internet, so
You're
we
like,
just
I can't prove you wrong on Google.
right.
Friggin'
This just feels like we're like living out the internet song by Apes of the States.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, they just put out a song just talking about like what life was like before internet.
Yeah.
So
Well,
check
yeah.
it out.
The song exists because it for a reason.
Yeah.
You know. Today's day 2 with no coffee, and I'm like feeling really, really weird. I got addicted to caffeine again, and it got like, it's weird with me. Whether it's alcohol, or whether it's caffeine, or whether it's like anything, cannabis, you name it. I start off really like taking baby steps. I'm like, all right, I'll have a cup of green tea, and 3 weeks later, I'm like, Monster Energy drink, you know, like, and I'm really. I don't know. I feel like I got a lot of energy right now, but I don't know where it's coming from because it's not coming from the caffeine, and I'm low on sleep. I got up at 6:30 in the morning. Like, everything's really weird.
Yeah.
So I apologize if I'm being rambly. And
Oh, you're totally cool. I actually got on that cold brew tip while we've been on this tour.
Oh, when you're driving a lot, it's almost a matter of personal safety
Yeah.
to caffeinate yourself because when there's times where I've been driving tired on tour where I might as well have been drunk.
Right.
Because you're like kind of swerving at times, and
You're just driving and
Yeah.
you hit the little strips.
yeah. I mean, those rumble strips are there for a reason. Once you start going off the road, they wake you the fuck up.
Yeah,
You're
I
like-
don't drink caffeine at all.
Mhm.
Except for like on tour. Like we had a big drive to make it to San Diego. I guess it wasn't that big, but we had to be there in the morning from Prescott, Arizona.
I know Prescott.
So it's like 6.5 hours. So we left there around midnight and had to be in San Diego at like 9. So we had to drive pretty much overnight. So I was like, all right, I never drink caffeine, but I'll wake up at like 5 in the morning and slam a Red Bull so we can get there
so
on time. But
so
I feel like
was that the first time you ever drank a Red Bull?
no.
Okay.
I used to drink energy drinks a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So you were
like when I was in college and stuff.
you're a
but-
reformed energy drink consumer.
Yeah. So like I just kind of cut it out of my diet. Didn't cut anything else out.
It's a good thing to not be on energy drinks all the time. But
Yeah, but I think it like helps though, because then like I don't drink it and then I can just have like the smallest Red Bull and be like we got to San Diego and my hands were like still like shaking.
yeah, and I've done a lot of research on the caffeine addiction thing, and what they say is if you use caffeine like maybe like once or twice a week, that you'll actually get that spike in energy, that benefit. And what happens is if you're a caffeine user and you drink it every single day, what ends up happening is your natural energy level is is lower than it would be naturally. So when you're drinking that caffeine, it's just bringing you back up to normal. There was like graphs and everything. I've like watched tons of videos on it. So essentially,
This explains me a lot.
yeah. So if you're drinking caffeine every day, you're waking up, and then the caffeine brings you to just like normal. But if let's say you don't drink, like Phil Warren doesn't drink caffeine on a daily basis. But if it's his turn to drive the van, dude like slams a Red Bull and he's just like because it gives him a boost, not just, it doesn't just bring him up to normal. And I feel, but this is coming from someone that has been a caffeine addict for the last 3 months, and just this is day 2 with none of it. So
Yeah, I'm not a huge like energy drink guy, but I love coffee.
it tastes delicious.
Coffee's amazing, but like even I can just still like do decaf just like at night and just drink it. I just love the taste of coffee.
Yeah, it's a stevia packet in a tall Americano from Starbucks. It's like, it's fucking on ice. It's amazing.
We're on that T-tip now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been drinking a lot of tea on this tour.
Tea's great too. It's
We
got-
went to a fancy tea shop and got like some nice teas and like a
Mexico
little
Tea Company shop.
New Mexico Tea Company.
Did
And we
you-
got like the nice little tea infusers and
Did you drive through New Mexico on this run?
yeah.
Did you play in New Mexico?
Yeah, we played Albuquerque at the Moonlight Lounge.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I played there before.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Albuquerque is a beautiful place. Do you know the elevation in Albuquerque is like high? It's like way above sea level.
sense.
Yeah,
It was thousands, right?
yeah. It's like it's between
4,000?
It's between 4,000 and 6,000 feet
Yeah.
above sea level. And I always thought because it's surrounded by mountains that it was like maybe ground level and just the mountains kind of surrounded, like it was a valley. But it's a valley. It's way fucking up. And because if you go directly north from Albuquerque, you're in Denver, which is 8,000 feet above sea level. But I remember playing a show and being like out of breath because the air gets thinner the higher up you get.
You know, I was having that problem a little bit, and that I didn't realize that's what it was until you just said that.
Dude, you're high up, and it's dry too. You'll get like blood.
Oh, it's so dry.
You'll get mad bloody noses in Albuquerque, and
your throat gets all dried out.
Not just from the cocaine usage.
No, they use meth there. Didn't you see Breaking Bad?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad was so good.
What's weird about Breaking Bad is everyone had already watched it in full, and it had been done for a number of years, and I hadn't seen one episode of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I had to get my hernia surgery, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't lift anything over 10 pounds for 6 weeks. So I was at my mom's house in Dearborn, and I was just like on painkillers, and I was like really bored, and I watched every single fucking episode of Breaking Bad. I don't know if I binge watched it, but like it took weeks because there was like 70 something episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, how many seasons are there? Like 7 seasons. There's like 85.
There's just 5 or 6 actually.
I don't know.
Is it 6?
How many seasons?
The last season's not that long.
Someone Google this shit.
Say, pull out your phone.
Someone Google this. It's not important. We don't need to Google it.
We turned our phones off because we're professionals in this podcast.
Oh, I don't even know where mine is. Mine's sitting here, but it's always on silent anyway. So, but yeah, I literally sat there on Vicodin and watched Breaking Bad, and then after Breaking Bad was done, I started watching Better Call Saul. I just like went for the whole gamut of.
I haven't finished Better Call Saul yet.
What's the dude's name? Vince Gillian, the creator, and
he wrote for the X-Files a lot.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, there's that episode with Bryan Cranston. He's in it, and he said that's the episode that made him want to hire Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, because he's like, this dude is a fantastic actor. Yeah. Did you ever see that?
I'm a huge X-Files fan. I don't know if you knew that, but
I don't know that. I heard your ringtone was.
Yep, it is.
Did you ever see the meme that was going around on the internet, and it's the X-Files theme, and it's like a chihuahua sucking his own penis? Yeah.
No.
And it was just I gotta find that. I laughed when I saw that meme. I laughed because it was a little video meme,
right.
But I laughed for like 10 minutes straight because I'm just like it. Because it was sort of shot in night vision, and the chihuahua's eyes were all big, and he was just like. You know how dogs can lick their own butthole, they might as well be able to lick their own,
that's how
reproductive organ. Oh, that's how they clean themselves. Okay, there you go. Yeah. But he's just going to town and is
It just sounds really funny.
I always like that meme, but I never really got into X-Files. That never was. Yeah,
I'm a huge fan. I got an X-Files tattoo. I don't know if you guys can see it in the camera, but
yeah,
it's right there.
Peep the tattoo. I always liked the X-Files episode of The Simpsons though, when they had Skulder and Mully, and and Homer's running on the treadmill, and one of them says his fat rolls, they're hypnotizing,
because they're running tests on him.
Yeah,
and then she goes, "What's the purpose of this test?" Like, no purpose. Just thought he could use stand to lose a little weight.
Jerks.
Yeah.
So
I love The Simpsons as well.
Simpsons is great. I can't believe that show's been on for, 30 plus years?
31 seasons this year.
And South Park is, like, on its tail.
Yeah.
That's on, season 20-something?
I actually didn't really get into South Park. That was the one.
It's crazy just to think, like, because you don't even think about The Simpsons having new episodes. I mean, I don't, because I don't really watch TV very much. But when you realize that, okay, this whole time I've been alive, since 1989 or 88 when it first came out. I remember watching it on Fox when it first came out. I was a little kid. And In Living Color immediately preceded it. I remember it was a big thing. The whole family.
Homie, don't play that.
Yeah, homie, don't play that. But I just can't. Yeah, it's been going on for that long. That long.
I was like, I don't know.
No, that lady was like looking in here. So.
Oh, you're saying? Yeah, when we do the podcast in the van, people sometimes walk by and you just
give her a sup.
Yeah, just give them a sup.
Do they think you're doing something else in this van and it's not a podcast?
You never know. If we were all like having sex with each other, then we probably would draw the curtain.
Oh yeah.
You know, but then it would be the video element would be blocked. I would have to figure out a different way to set up the camera and whatnot to do that.
Well, it's LA. I just figure people think weird stuff is happening in vans.
There's always, especially in Venice. This is actually when I was living in this van when I was homeless. I used to camp out like right on the street a whole bunch. So it's actually bringing back memories. But the curtain. So this curtain we have here. Carmel's mother, Luisa. Yeah, she crafted
Luisa Rosa
this.
Spinella Birdie.
She crafted that, and it's purple and it's like velour.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Shouts out to Luisa.
Yeah, shout out to Carmel. Shout out to Luisa. Good people.
They're right there. They're right there.
So let's yeah, they're right here because
We
I
love
don't.
them.
The camera.
we
can't-
love them.
The camera can't really pan over here, but every single one of these humans on this laminated piece of thing, they donated towards the van to have their face put in the van. So each of these people donated $50,
That's funny.
and because I was doing like a fundraiser.
Do you know all of them, or do you?
I don't know this dude. I don't really know this dude. I know this dude. I don't really know this dude. I know that girl in the corner. This guy comes to our shows in Kansas City. That's a Detroit dude. I sort of know him. This is Gene. I definitely know Gene. I definitely know this dude in the right. Yeah, so I know, I would say like 50% of the people personally.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm just blown away that we live in an age where we can do things like say, I have this dream, and you could put it out on the internet and people can be like, I'm going to throw some money down on that. I think it's kind of a cool thing.
It is super crazy.
But it's also weird because people are like, I can't pay my rent. And they go fund me their like rent. It's like, it's like, I think there's definitely people that abuse those type of platforms. And then there's people that are kind of honest about it and their intentions are pure. Like, hey, I'm really trying to do this thing. And I make art, or, I'm in a band, or like we're trying to make this album. Like I'm for crowdfunding, but the whole, I'm having a really rough time. I mean, but people,
Weird stuff happens. But I mean, I've always been super weirded out about like asking for money on the internet like that.
Like if you get
I just give blood or sell stuff.
Yeah, if you that works. If you get in a crazy accident or you get cancer or something and you can't pay your medical bills, put up a GoFundMe. Like that's
a legit thing.
That's totally legit as fuck. But if you're just like a drug addict and like you are drinking all the time and you're spending all your money on smokes and booze and you're just like, I can't pay my rent. It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
So you expect your friends to fucking do that for you? I don't know. I think it's a per case basis, really.
Yeah, like usually I don't donate to somebody if I don't know them. That's basically how I roll.
That
like
makes
if
sense.
if somebody's having like a rough night, like I know your situation, and then so I'll throw you a couple bucks. But if it's just somebody I don't know, I'm ignoring it. Sorry, people I don't know. I'm ignoring your pleas for help.
Yeah.
For financial help, anyway.
Yeah. There's a lot of people in the world, and a lot of people I do not know.
Right.
So we've been talking about, it's been kind of a random conversation so far, but that's what this podcast is for. That's what I think podcasts in general are for. It's like to see where the conversation takes you,
Yeah.
But let's get back to what you guys do and why you're doing what you do, and what is Pancho Villa's Skull?
Pancho Villa's Skull is a...
I like how he just tossed the mic over
Londo's
to
actually
you.
usually really good at explaining it. Pancho Villa's Skull is a mariachi punk band that I started probably like 9 years ago. It's going on 10, I think. But I started doing it solo about 9 years ago, where I was just trying to think of a way to kind of get back to our roots. We're Mexican American, so we're just trying to like do some more songs in Spanish and maybe implement some more influences and stuff that we listened to growing up. Our grandpa was a mariachi singer, so we heard a lot of stuff like that.
Cool.
And then I was also kind of influenced by bands like like Flogging Molly or Gogol Bordello, who are kind of like mixing their own personal histories with their music or heritage. And so I just decided I was going to do a mariachi punk band, because I figured I probably couldn't do mariachi proper, but I could probably mix it with like punk rock.
Yeah, there's I know this band out of San Antonio, Texas called Pinata Protest.
Love those guys.
Yeah, and
a lot of our Facebook friends were.
And I think it's really cool. When I first heard Flogging Molly, I'm like, okay, I don't think the closest thing to Celtic punk that I ever heard was like the Pogues.
Yeah.
But
Love
they,
the Pogues.
But they just revved it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really cool. And when Gogol Bordello had the whole, that the European gypsy vibe, and they rev that the fuck up. I think it's really cool that different cultures are being represented in punk rock, and able to really wear where they're coming from on their sleeve. So I think that's fucking badass.
I think punk rock really lends itself to that because it's just kind of like a whole like no rules type deal. And then like people are just always been singing about just like where they're coming from. Like, I mean, you think about the Ramones, they were just talking about being goofy Queens kids.
Yeah.
You know, so it kind of lends itself to that.
Eating refried beans.
Yeah, eating refried beans.
We're in all the magazines,
Queens.
gulping down Thorazines. We ain't got no friends, the troubles never end. When Christmas cards send, Daddy likes men. Yeah. Yeah, well... And that's cool. It's actually the family lineage, like having a family member be a mariachi singer, guitar player.
Singer. He played trumpet.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I work in Whittier, Santa Fe Springs area, and I work at a rehearsal studio. So it's pretty much like there's 6 rooms and there's bands rehearsing all the time. But the cool thing, I've been to so many rehearsal studios in Detroit, and all you hear is metal, punk, nah. But when I'm at work, I hear mariachi music, and I hear it every day.
Yeah.
And it's so refreshing being from Michigan, and just like in the burbs, in the Michigan burbs, it's just like people are in bands, and it seems very, like
White dude metal.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't want to say that, but yeah, it's like it seems white.
Yeah.
And what's cool about being out here, and I was just talking to my buddy on the last podcast about this, is such a melting pot. Los Angeles is in like New York City, like any of these really big cities, it's so culturally diverse, and I feel like, especially where I grew up in Michigan, it was fucking white. And not only that, but I feel like Detroit, and there's been studies on this, and there's actual facts to back this up. It seems intentionally segregated. Like
for sure.
Like you cross,
especially after 67.
Yeah, exactly. And so you cross certain lines, and it's like you're in this type of neighborhood, and you're in that type of neighborhood. I grew up in Northville, which is on the west side, super fucking white suburb, and then there's Livonia right next to it, which is a super fucking white suburb, but then fucking one suburb over is Redford, and then Detroit, and it's weird because you could almost like do a color chart,
right?
And it just gets whiter and darker, and that bubble wasn't really smashed for me until I started going to Detroit and seeing shows when I was a teenager. Like I never really thought about it. That I was in a fucking predominantly white suburb. I was just like, oh, this is where I grew up.
Yeah.
And
then you go to Detroit, which is like 80-something% black.
Yeah. And yeah, that smashed the bubble for me, and I'm glad it happened. I'm glad I started going to those punk shows because it really made me realize it's like, okay, like I'm fucking privileged, dude. Like I'm. Like, other people aren't living the way I'm living, You went to Detroit, and I remember, I was like in 3rd grade or something. My dad used to work for Ford's, and we went, and just seeing like homeless people and just not being exposed to that diversity.
Right.
I don't even know where I'm going with this, but essentially Detroit always to me felt very segregated, and being in a place like Los Angeles is like, it's fucking everything all at once.
The poet Octavio Paz has a book called The Labyrinth of Solitude, and he writes about LA in it. It was just back in the 50s, and he like made an observation that there's something like vaguely Mexican about just the feel of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I was like, because I was reading this book after I'd already come to LA, and I was like, that is exactly how I felt the first time I came to Los Angeles. There's just like this weirdly like vague like Mexicanness about it.
Well, and I read, I think I read a Facebook post or something you posted about how your where you come from and your culture is so much more represented in this city than anywhere else you've been.
Yeah, like I would say like Southern California. Like, I mean, we were just for Chicano Park, which is like in San Diego, and that was like the first time I went there. It was almost like an emotional experience because you're just seeing like yourself so represented in a way that you've never felt before. Or seen before, so it was a really interesting thing.
That's what happens when I go to Applebee's.
Yeah.
So, but
East LA felt that way a lot too. Like just like walking around like Boyle Heights, East LA area, you're just like, I've been to Mexico, and this feels very much like Mexico. Like it's crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you feel at home here?
Yeah, I do. I really feel at home, like here in Southern California.
That's fucking beautiful, man. And do you notice? Does the band get different reactions like when you guys play out here? Do you notice that it?
Oh, for sure. Like that was part of the reason. Like when we started touring the Southwest is like, because our dad's from Texas originally, so it's kind of like the same feel. It's more like country in Texas, obviously. But but that was like part of the reason we wanted to start touring the Southwest, because we're like, let's go where people actually speak Spanish and like can understand a lot of our lyrics, and the reaction is awesome.
Is most of the music predominantly in Spanish?
Yeah. So my one rule with writing lyrics is that it can be all in Spanish, but it can't be all in English. So that was the only rule. That was the only rule I ever wrote for myself when writing songs. So it is predominantly Spanish, but there's like English peppered throughout there.
Okay, so sometimes it switches like during the song.
Yeah.
Are you guys down to go down to the beach and play?
Yeah.
Okay, because I have this boom mic here, and I think it would be really, because I could get decent audio with that.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool.
We could totally do that.
Because the cool thing about your band too is you can do it fucking anywhere.
Right.
You don't have to fucking plug in. You can do it on a street corner.
Yeah.
Do you busk or do you?
We have busked, not like hardcore or anything like that, but I mean it really helps at like house shows, and like the sound systems sometimes aren't that great. We can just go unplug, dude.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
Because it's acoustic guitar, vocals, and a cajon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can do that. You can do that anywhere. At a restaurant, you can do it on a street corner. You can do it in someone's living room.
And we have.
Yeah.
I think we've done all those things.
That's dope. Yeah, because when you're in a band that requires like drums and amps, and that kind of limits you. It kind of limits the. Well, that's the other cool thing about that band Days and Days. Like
from Houston.
I feel like they can just do that fucking anywhere. I feel like they can play. I mean, they play these giant. They're really popular now.
Right.
They play these giant venues and stuff. But I feel like they could just go anywhere and do that. They can go to New Orleans and just do it on the street. I feel like that. Their style and choice of instrumentation lends themselves to complete freedom.
Yeah,
and that's amazing.
Yeah, we played with them. Well, it wasn't like a show with them, but like we did a festival in New York City called Punk Island, and they were like one of the headliners on that. That was kind of cool.
Where was that at? Was that in Tompkins Square Park?
No, it was Randall's Island.
Oh,
so it's like right off Manhattan. It's like technically part of Manhattan, but
is that like the Lower East Side?
I'm sure like one of our New York friends here are like yelling at me, but I think that's where it is.
Okay. I don't really know. The only reason I know Lower East Side is I spent a lot of time there because my girlfriend was living there for a year, and I used to go visit her a lot. Yeah. And there's a park called Tompkins Square Park where they do shows and stuff at, and it's a really nice park. But there's always music going on. It's a really cool like kind of cultural hub for the Lower East Side. It's that city is so intense. It really is.
It's hardcore.
Yeah, it really is. Like people, it's expensive living out in LA, but not only is it expensive living in New York, but you got to deal with the fact that everyone's living on top of each other. Like it's fucking madness, and it stinks.
I love Queens though. Shouts out to Queens.
The only time I ever was in Queens, I stayed at this dude's grandma's house, and
was it with Carmel Liberty?
She was there.
She told me about that.
Oh, she did?
Yeah. She stayed with was it one of the dudes from Fishbone, his grandma?
It was a guy that used to work for Fishbone. Yeah, Buck. Shout out to Buck. What's up, Buck?
And she remembered telling her that. Carmel told me that she just loved like the grandma's accent.
Yeah, I don't even remember
that
really
very like Queen's accent.
Yeah, I remember talking to her not very vividly. So Carmel probably remembers that better than
Carmel remembers those like tiny little details about just random things and just.
I feel like she's able to really appreciate moments, and that's something I'm trying to work more on because I'm trying to work more on, but because I find when you're in go mode and you're like on tour and you're trying to get stuff done and then you're thinking about what's going to happen after the tour, like you're living thinking about what's going to happen after the moment you're currently living. And I think if I have any advice to give just from my failure as being present to people that are doing stuff like traveling on the roads, just like enjoy it and enjoy the fact that you don't have to go to your day job for the next 10 days.
Yeah, that's something that I love, not having to go to work for the next 14 days.
Because I always just take it for granted because I was like, oh, my band isn't as popular as I want it to be, and people there isn't as many people coming to the shows. I would always just dwell on the negative. And I for years I never really just looked myself in the mirror and was like, dude, you're like living in a van 150 days out of the year, playing the music that you love, and you're connecting with people, and they're buying your shit. It's like fucking snap out of it. Things are great. Because now I don't do it as much, and I'm like, I should have been more present. You know?
Yeah, that's something that like now that like I'm in my 30s that I really try to like just sit back and appreciate things more, because I feel like you're right. Like you're in a van, you're just thinking about going to the next place, and things are going 1,000 miles an hour, and you're just like not paying attention to where you're at. So just kind of like sitting and appreciating the moment is super important.
Yeah, and especially if you're exploring parts of your culture and experiencing things that you can't necessarily get in Detroit. Like,
right.
There's people that never leave Detroit.
Yeah.
And sometimes people get stuck, and I get all of that, but it's like you're living the dream. I mean, even if your music doesn't resonate with the public and you don't become huge rock stars or whatever, you're doing what you love, and it's facilitating your ability
It'll
to go
be a great
places.
story later.
Yeah. So, hats off to you guys. It's that's one of my biggest regrets in all of the traveling that I did. Is I always was just like, what's next? Another album? What's next? This show? Blah blah blah. You know, and I didn't realize that I'm having the time of my life with my best fucking friends, and we're doing crazy shit. Like I used to be fucking nuts. Like we used to get into some crazy shit. Went back when I used to drink, and but. Yeah, it's over now. I'm fucking 10 plus years sober, and it's kind of in the past. I still want to make music and play stuff and do stuff, but it's like, yeah, my advice to anyone listening to this is be present in the moment, because you don't know if you're gonna fucking die tomorrow. Just like I need to be present right now, talking to you dudes.
Exactly. So spend all them credit card dollars.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to be. That's what I did in 2017.
Because you're gonna have $10,000 in the bank and then die tomorrow, and it's not gonna matter.
Yeah. What do you know about that debt going on to your loved ones though? Isn't that a thing?
It's a thing, yeah.
Yeah. So
it's
let's
not fun.
Let's say I'm roughly $2,000 in debt, in credit card debt right now.
Oh, somebody can handle that for you.
Okay, but let's just say I die. Like, who does that go to?
I have no idea who it goes
Does
to.
it go to my
like,
mother?
I know, like, because I'm married, it would go to my wife.
Oh, snap.
So I don't know who it would go to if like you were to pass away, because you have like no real attachments. So.
Who loves me?
I would hope it doesn't go. They'll find somebody. Yeah.
They'll find someone to plop it on. Yeah, I'm sweating a lot. That's what happens during these SUPcasts. The sun is beating down on the van. We got the AC on, man, but it's hot. So what goes on tonight?
Tonight we're playing with Neil P. of Downtown Brown. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
That's me.
And then Bernie Tamayo at Silver Lake Lounge. And
there was another band, but they had to cancel.
Have you been there before?
Yeah, we played there in the spring. Well, we came out to California to do Chicano Park Day in the spring. I think that was in late April. And then we just also did another LA show while we were here, just to kind of make it worthwhile, get a couple shows. Yeah,
do as much as you can while you're in this hustling hub of a city. Silver Lake, it's a pretty happening area. When you guys played that bar, was there kind of like a built-in draw? Was there people just hanging out there, or do you think?
Yeah, I don't know if it was like very like built in, but I think a lot of people just kind of like, oh, a show's going on, kind of just popped in.
Well, I hope that happens tonight.
Yeah, hopefully.
I hope that.
And that was on Easter, and it was packed out, so it should probably be okay.
Well, cool.
We hope.
Well, yeah. Hopefully, there's some human beings in attendance tonight. But, yeah, I don't know. My brain is going... It's weird. You would think, like, with no caffeine, my brain would be going very slow, but my brain right now is going... My girlfriend asked me, she's like, what are you thinking about when I don't say anything? And I generally say, oh, like about 29 different things at once. And that's not a lie. It's... What is that thing where... I'm trying to think. Come on, brain. It's like... If someone says, I can't live with you, or whatnot, and the response is
that's
like,
called hate.
Well, no, just when someone can't handle you, like
they say it's not you, it's me,
or the response being, you can't live with me. I have to live with I have to live with this shit every single day, all day.
Yeah.
It was like a Larry David thing. I can't think of the direct quote, but
Bernie Sanders.
was it a Bernie Sanders? Oh, the same guy. They're the same guy.
Yeah, they were at Starbucks in El
Both of
Paso. No, it's just one person, but it was both of them.
Oh, it was both. Did you get a picture?
We should have. The dude looked a lot, definitely like Larry David for sure.
Yeah.
Like was dressed very cool too. He was like a cool old guy. He had, he had like some like more modern clothes on. He had New Balances, but they were the cool New Balances. So he was chilling for sure.
I think it was Larry David.
I used to rock dad shoes, but I wore them because I used to run.
But now we're all on that Vans tip now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all wearing Vans.
Oh, we're all wearing Vans. Shout out to Vans. I've been wearing Vans since 1998, and every year I buy a new pair, and I've just been doing the same thing. And I don't know, maybe was it a Warped Tour thing? I don't know what made me decide. Because I tried Airwalks, those always fell apart for some reason. And the Converse, the All Stars, I have wide feet, so
Me too.
yeah, they
I did Converse for a while.
they never really worked for me.
Then I did Adidas for a minute, which Adidas are super comfy, but Vans are like
Soccer shoes.
Yeah, well, Vans are like comfy, and then like I also ice skate, so
Yeah,
it's like best of both worlds.
there you go. I do not skate because if I got on a skateboard, I would fall and hurt myself terribly. I hurt myself with just walking. Like I was at work the other day and I walked into a drum riser and it just like maybe it wasn't the other day, but it just took a chunk out of my leg right here.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, I got a scrape on my knee right now.
Yeah, I'm just a big
Skating.
clumsy idiot, like a bull in a china shop. When I'm walking through large crowds of people, I'm constantly just smashing into people. I'm like, sorry. I don't know, because I kind of walk with a wobble too. I remember I had this one person making fun of me. Like, do you know you walk like this? It's like, yeah. I wobble, man. I can't.
Is that what you wrote that song about?
No, that song's about getting fucked up. Our old drummer, we used to say he would get his wobble on because he would stand there at parties and he would just wobble, like standing up. And then sometimes he would like fall backwards into walls and stuff because that's how fucked up he got. But he could still talk, he could still stand, but he would just wobble.
He was wobble?
He would just get his wobble on.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm getting together with those guys in December. We're gonna listen to every song off that album, and we're gonna do like a storytellers about it on the podcast. It's gonna be weird.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird.
Yeah, we just put out an album
Yeah, let's talk about you guys.
last week.
Yeah, what's it called?
Gentification.
And what does that mean?
So, of course, we know about gentrification, but gentification is kind of like people from within the city improving their own city. Whereas gentrification is people from the outside coming in and like preying upon the people who are in the city and taking stuff and kicking people out. It's kind of using the community to build up the city without people from the outside, so that way we're still getting new and better, but it's people who are from the community who aren't going to necessarily screw over the people there and have the best interest in mind of the people who actually live there, unlike gentrifiers who don't care at all because they're going to come make their money, sell it, and then move back to wherever they're from,
Right.
or they never even lived here at all.
So is that a real thing?
It's a real term. Yeah, it's fairly new. It's kind of I don't know, some people like it, some people don't like it, but we took it, and when we were exposed to the term and kind of people explaining it to us, like it seemed like a positive thing, and we kind of wanted to like push that like community effort out into the world, and that's kind of like what we talk about in our music a little bit or a lot of it.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to like hopefully someone like you who doesn't know what it is sees the album title and they're like, well, what is this?
I actually did wonder that when I saw it.
And then they look it up, and they pull out their phone and look it up on Google, and they see all these communities who are doing well for themselves without the help of a big corporation or a big like Dan Gilbert coming in and buying up land and kicking people out of their homes and raising the rent prices on people. We can still be flourishing communities without that. We don't need that, and it's possible. And there are a lot of cities that it's hard work, and it takes a lot, and it takes a lot of effort from, like I said, a community of people, but it's possible. And so we want to try to like spread that message and hopefully try to, people look up these stories and they feel like maybe they have like a sense of hope that, because a lot of times, especially like in Pontiac right now, we're seeing what's happening to Detroit, like with Dan Gilbert. It's kind of scary. We're like, are we going to be next? And there are certain things that are like, people are starting to try to like, get it, buy up the property in that area. And so, we're trying to just like, hopefully people can read it and be like, okay, we don't need to do that. We can stand up for ourselves and we can, make this city as great as it can be on our own without, allowing people to like push us around and buy us out.
Yeah, because I feel like when I talk to people, when I travel and whatnot, and I say this yada yada is happening in Venice and it's happening in Detroit, and usually the response I get anywhere I go is that's happening here, it's happening everywhere.
Yeah.
But there's kind of a defeatist, like everyone's unhappy about it, but it seems
what can I do?
Yeah, it seems like everyone's kind of hopeless about. Yeah, so it's what can you do to fight the man, essentially, from taking over? And a lot of people, especially in Venice where we're parked right now, a lot of the people that have been living in this part of town for a long time. It used to be a really weird, kooky, hippie type artist community.
Used to be the ghetto by the sea.
That's what they said. And now it's, there's a fucking expensive yoga studios everywhere and like
fancy coffee shop up at the corner.
Yeah, you can buy,
hot yoga.
You can buy bougie food for your snacks for your dogs and
a $17 wrap.
Yeah.
That's we looked up some of the prices. We were trying to find like what's cheapest around here because.
Oh, good luck. I mean,
we found a spot that it was expensive, but at least they gave you a lot of food.
Yeah, that's
or
good.
It was like the same price as everywhere else, but they gave you a lot of food. So.
Because I feel like if we went down on the boardwalk, you might be able to get there's some street tacos or there's some food that isn't terribly overpriced, but yeah, people that live in Venice, they're not too happy with the gentrification. And yeah, Detroit, and everyone I talk to, it's happening in Austin, Texas. It's happening in Seattle. It's happening in Portland. What do guys like us? What could we do to combat that? Is there an answer?
My suggestion's always just been like to try to take care of your community as much as you can.
Yeah.
So like for me personally, like anytime like we can get out and do something for our own community instead of like having people come in and like rescue us, I'd rather take that opportunity. Because I always feel like, especially like when it comes to like politics and things like that, people will talk, this politician, that, but really it's up to us to take care of each other, and then to like protect our own communities.
And I think a lot of it has to do with where you choose to spend your money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
a
huge thing too.
People always say, like, I remember when I lived in Chicago, there's a high murder rate there, and people would be like, well, they would see like one protest about at the election or about the mayor at the time, and be like, well, why aren't people protesting the violence and blah blah? I was like, there is, like, so people think that there's just like nothing going on, or that there's like, because people are like, I don't want to start something. Because then I'll feel like more responsibility. But I guarantee you, if you look and you actually take action and do research, there are people in your community that are already trying to do something that you can, put your efforts to. Maybe you can't be there every single day, but you can, come on the weekends and help, or, do whatever they're organizing for. You can help spread the message. So just go in, do some research and really find what's in your community. Because I guarantee you there's a group of people that are already trying to push for that you can help, and they want your help.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, gents and humans abound. Pancho Via Skull is about community and spreading the good message of taking care of your community, taking care of each other, and that's commendable.
That's why we really tried to have like our album reflect that, not only in like the lyrics, but also having people from around the state of Michigan like perform on different songs. The last song on the album is like a collaborative effort with the band Cabildo from Grand Rapids. We have people from Lansing on. We even have some people from New York and San Antonio, Texas on, because we wanted to have that like community vibe, or like that homie vibe, like that way, like we're talking about it, but then you can also get that feel because we have all these people from all different places, like coming together to try to like, you know, make this album, you know, be the best it can be.
That's dope. Yeah, the communal vibe. The last record I did has 17 different performers on it. So, and people from Nashville and a lot of just LA and Detroit. So, I don't know.
I love Kitchen because I love Dika.
Oh, Dika. Shout out to Dika. Dika fucking murdered that shit. She's great.
Shout out to Mama Slop.
Yeah, Mama Slop's the shit. When I met Dika, we were opening up for Fishbone, and she was in the front row, and she just kept pointing at me and screaming at me, and I didn't know who this person was, and I'm just like, yeah, like, and I just would get in her face, and I was playing my guitar solos, and we just had this. It was like an immediate bond. We had never met, and here's this loud fucking human just having the time of her life, and I'm in her face, I'm sweating on her, and it was all non-verbal communication. There was no words spoken. It was just all vibes. And I remember just being like,
vibe check.
Yeah, I just remember being like, this person's fucking amazing. And then I heard her sing, and then I heard her play guitar, and
one of the best guitarists out there.
Yeah, just
so good. So good at everything.
And that's the thing about Detroit. The great thing about Detroit, the community aspect. Yeah, I feel like you can go to any local show and know fucking 60% of the people there, and everyone's a performer, and everyone's talented. There's just so much talent. It's great, and I'm going there in December, and I can't wait to see people. It's gonna be tight.
It's gonna be cool.
I'm going for no. I'm gonna miss that. I got a couple of my own shows, and then but this is late December.
What shows are you playing there?
Oh, we're doing a show with you guys.
Oh,
yeah.
What?
Yeah, but
crazy.
We haven't announced it yet. Yeah, we're at about 50 minutes here.
Okay.
Well,
wrap up.
Yeah, we should probably wrap up, and then maybe we'll go down to the beach, and then what I'll do is I'll just take the audio of you guys playing. But this is a video podcast essentially, so let's go down to the fucking beach and see what happens. If you guys want,
that's cool.
If you guys want to rock a tune, but
it's dirty, it's filthy, it's paradise.
Yeah, it's lovely.
SUPcast
2019.
SUPcast.
Forever. That's like Jay Adams, like 1970.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to plug real quick before we end this SUPcast?
So like we previously said, we just put out an album called Gentrification. So it's out on all streaming platforms. The best way to have it support us is to buy it off our Bandcamp or come to our shows and buy a CD. We're going to be coming to a lot of cities. We really wanted to kick it off in this region, the Southwest, because we wanted to go to where people speak a lot of Spanish. I feel like when we play like back home in Michigan, we probably waste like a song's worth of time because we explain a lot of songs, and we don't have to do that in a lot of the places where we played on this tour. And it's really cool just to come down and hear the response, because a lot of people, they don't think about Michigan being under like the reign of ICE, the organization ICE. They just think, oh, that's the North. Why I was surprised someone like you is talking about immigration policy.
But it's a border state.
Yeah, so yeah, they don't think about it a lot, because a lot of these are border states, and they're thinking about this is the Mexican border is what's always like highly publicized and talked about a lot, but they're doing their best to take as many people as they can up in Michigan too. So I guess just pay attention to what's going on everywhere.
Yeah, and keep the dialogue going and keep the fight going.
Or as we say, mira alrededor. Which means look around. It's one of our songs on the album.
Open your eyes. Look around.
Yeah, I think that's all we have to plug. I mean, yeah, we're definitely going to be trying to go around to as many states and cities as we can in the next, year. So look out for us. Follow us on our Instagram, which is @Pancho. Twitter is Mariachi Punk PVS. And then Facebook is facebook.com/Mariachi Punk PVS. Yeah, you can find the music anywhere you listen to music. But the best way to support is picking it up on Bandcamp or coming to get a CD for sure.
Yeah, support the artist directly, Bandcamp, and on the sites listed below. If you're watching on YouTube, links in the description as always. And yeah,
follow us on TikTok because we're real funny.
For real?
Yeah, we do have TikToks. I think mine is just my name. Yours is
mine is just my name.
Yours is Tino Ibarra. I think mine is just Ron.
Now is TikTok like it's kind of like Vine but more music like related?
It started as like a lip syncing app musically.
Yeah.
And then it kind of transitioned into now where it's more of like Vine based, but you can definitely tell like a lot of that like influence from its origins have talking about it like it's a scroll or something. It's like left. There's a lot of like lip syncing and stuff like that still. But yeah, it's creative. We just got on it maybe like right before this tour. We made a couple while we were on the road. Yeah, so
it's a good way to blow off steam on the road.
When we were in Nashville, like we had a lot of time, so like we took some time and I actually like directed one and like edited it together and everything to make it look
Make
nice
it tight.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but I think it was a good start. I could probably do a couple more that are better, but.
Well, shit. Check out Pancho Villa's Skull on TikTok. We'll put a link down to that too.
Super famous.
It's gonna be so many fucking links. They're gonna be linked up. But yeah,
follow our dog's Instagram. No, just kidding.
It's a pleasure having you guys in the van, and I'm really glad that you guys are making it out of Michigan and spreading your music. And I'm glad you find an audience in Southern California that understands what you're saying and that is a part of the culture you're representing as well.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson.
It's a fucking dope thing, man. I'm just happy to see you boys, and
thank you. I appreciate you.
Let's go to the fucking beach.
All right.
Shall we?
Yeah.
Okay, on the count of 3, let's all say sup. 1, 2, 3.
Sup.
Later, dudes.
Harmonized.
Yeah, it's okay, we'll see you in a sec. Bye-bye. We're doing it.